Hey, all right, we're live. Aaron, what's going on, my man?
On. Just hanging out in Galvanize and SF. Awesome co-working space.
That's pretty good. We got a few folks coming in. We can get started here in about a minute. Today we're going to be talking about how to improve website design. We're going to do a little session. Aaron's going to teach on website design, give some demos of clients that he's worked with and other websites that look really good and do a good job. And we will open it up to questions as always. Also, a little housekeeping note, we will do this again next week. Topic to be determined by our poll. And we'll post that here in a second on what you would like to see next week. If you want to see anything in particular, feel free to type it in the chat and or send me an email at ian.faison@victorymedia.com. I will post that in the chat as well.
Cool.
Feel free to type questions or direct message me for any questions that you have as Aaron's talking. Also, if you want us to do a live demo and look at your website, and Aaron will provide some free feedback on what he thinks and any recommendations, just type your email or your website in the chat. And all right, let's go ahead and get started. If anyone else comes in, they can catch up. So Aaron, all right, tell us a little bit about how to improve website design. Give us a little background, and then we'll go into what you think and showing some sites here.
Cool. Yeah. So, your website is the most important, or one of the most important parts of your business nowadays. It's basically the same as like your storefront in the past. If someone walked into, if they're walking down the street and they came to your storefront and, the windows were all dirty, they walked inside and it was hard to figure out where the cash register was, they wouldn't buy from you. And that's websites now. So you need to have a really well-designed website to make sure that people feel comfortable when they get there, trust you, and know how to do whatever you want them to do. And most websites out there have no idea. They focus on a beautiful design, but not a functional design. And if you're a business, beautiful design doesn't matter as much as functional design. You have a product that you're trying to sell or a service that you're trying to sell. Your website needs to look good, but most importantly, it needs to get people to buy your product. And that's something that, if you're just hiring a designer to design a website and they're not working alongside a marketer, then you're probably going to get a beautiful website that doesn't get any conversions. So that's like something to keep in mind when you're, doing website design. So I'm going to show you guys real quick a few awesome home pages for websites that are perfectly optimized to get leads or sell services that these companies are selling. Cool. So just confirm you can see my screen, right?
Ian? Yep. Yeah, you're good.
Cool. Okay. So I'm going to show you 4 websites here, and you can go through a few principles that are just really important for website design. So the first one is having a really clear description of the benefits that you provide, not your features, but the benefits that you provide. So for these guys, payroll and benefits under one roof. Discover how easy it can be to manage payroll and benefits for your business. So that's a very clear, a very clear set of benefits, not just features, but benefits. Here's a good one from Nimble: grow faster with Nimble. So you're like, oh, I can grow faster if I use this product. The one platform you need to build a business you've always dreamed of. Oh, that sounds like a great benefit. I can build a platform that I've always dreamed of. So first, have a great verbal, or written call to action. Second, you need buttons, that are calls to action, literal calls to action that you're going to have people click on, and they should be a different color. So for Shopify here, they're green. They're different from everything else on the page. They really stand out. For Gusto, there's try 2 months free, try 2 months free. It's really important to have the same call to action or similar call to action. So you know, get started, start your free trial. The keyword here is start. Over here, try 2 months free, try 2 months free. Over on Nimble, try free, sign up. And it's the same color, and it stands out from the rest of the page. Everything else on Nimble's page is blue, except for the calls to action, which are green. And then the other piece there is to have multiple calls to action. You want to have the same call to action multiple times on the page. So in Gusto's and Nimble's situation, they have the call to action up here at the top. And then as the page scrolls on Gusto, it follows you down. So you can click through that call to action at any time while you're on your page. Same thing with Nimble. The sign up, the green button is at the top of the page every single time. And then on Shopify's page, it's just one very small page, so it's always there. The next piece is having your call to action above the fold. So what that means is this page is, this is the way that the page loads, you know, like the first time I go there. Sorry, I got a little loud in the background. So this is the first thing I see when I get there. I don't have to scroll anywhere to see the call to action, the benefits that I get by using this service, you know, and that's what you should have above the fold always. If someone has to scroll down to get to your call to action, which is that button that goes to do the thing that you want them to do, whether it's buy your service or sign up for a free trial or, you know, get a free consultation. If that's below the fold, you're going to lose a lot of customers. 70% of customers leave below the fold before they even go down. So if you don't have your call to action above the fold, you're losing a lot of customers. And then the other piece, you know, so we covered here, you know, having your benefits very simply laid out, having a call to action, which is a different color, having that call to action multiple times on the page. The other piece is having a mobile optimized website. So see how on Gusto's website here, everything, when I change the size of the page, the same way that it will look on a mobile phone, everything still looks good. The call to action is still above the fold. The same on Nimble over here. And that's really important. Over 60% of people are browsing on mobile devices. So if your website doesn't work on mobile, I guarantee you're losing customers. You're losing customers. You know, so a good way to check and see that your website is responsive. This is called mobile responsive, where the website changes as I move. A good way to check is just to change the size of your browser window and see if everything is still on here. I shouldn't have to scroll left or right to get to any information. If I have to scroll left or right to get information, that means your website's not mobile optimized. And it's not ready to go for mobile devices. Another great thing to do is really just go to your website on your phone or your tablet and see how it looks. You know, go to that website and say, you know, if I was a new user coming to my website, would I actually buy from me? And if the answer is questionable, then you need to redesign your website. You know, in today's world, you can't have a crappy website. And even, you know, search engines like Google, if your website doesn't work on mobile, they'll push you down in search results. Even if in the past you've been on, you know, the #1 spot in search in Google, if you don't have a mobile optimized website, you're going to start getting pushed down in search results. You know, so those are all the calls to action and, you know, the pieces that you should be thinking about in website design. You know, the other pieces like, you know, having a features page and a pricing page and a blog and support and all these different things. But what really matters is this first look. If your first look when people come to your website is bad or is not, you know, optimized to get them to click to the next page, like try free, then you're not ready for your blog page or your support page, features, pricing, any of that. This first page is the most important page on your site. You know, to show you just how that can come out functionally, this is a page that I built for a client, the Marines Memorial Association, in support of their spot on 60 Minutes. And, you know, their call to action is above the fold here. You know, they have a very clear text of the benefits, help honor the legacy of military service. There's an additional call to action down here. You know, it's mobile optimized, so it works on all devices. And, you know, this page converts at over 10%. You know, so that means over 10% of the people that come to this page are moving on to the next page, and that's huge. You want to have a number like that, and you should know that number for your website too, because if not, then how can you know if you have a good design? So you need to be collecting that data so you actually know if you have a good website design.
Yeah. Hey, Aaron, one of the things that
Yeah.
came up is, so if you have that type of website design and you're looking to do something, what if you just want to like provide information about your organization? Like what should your primary page be? Or should you have like your call to action button as something, should any web page just be like purely informational on the front?
So in my opinion, no. Everything should be intentional. So there should be a purpose for someone to read your page. You see that in a lot of blog pages and everything, where the purpose is for you to read the content, but there's also a call to action there to share that content, or to sign up for a newsletter so you get that content again in the future. So it's really important to always be intentional. If you're a business and you're going to put in the time to produce a whole page of content and make it look really good, it should probably have a very direct benefit for your business, and you should know what that is before you even create that page. Because if you're just creating content with no purpose, then you're wasting your time, and you should be focusing on something else, like cold calling clients, or going and networking and meeting people. So there should always be a purpose behind every page and a call to action on every page that goes into your sales funnel, so you can move the prospects to the next step in your business sales funnel.
So question on how do you test that, right? How do you get folks to give you feedback on that site? I mean, is it as simple as, you walk around at a mall with your phone and be like, hey, does this website look good to you? I mean, obviously there's ways digitally to do that, but also like analog ways.
Yeah. So a great way to go is, after you design your website, just like literally, you could, if you want to go super analog with it, you could just bring it up to one of your friends and say, hey, look at my website, pretend you just came to it. What would you do next? And literally watch and see what they're doing on your website. And if they're not doing what you would intend for a visitor to do, then you need to redesign it. And you can ask them on the spot, how to design it. There's actually a great tool for this. That's a digital tool that's called Hotjar. It's free, which is great. And one of the cool things that Hotjar lets you do is you can actually record visitors to your website. So when they come to your site, it'll create a video showing, exactly where their mouse went all over the website. And you can have it analyze your conversion funnels across your website and tell you where people are falling off. The other great thing is you can have it set up surveys and feedback polls where it'll pop up on your site, and you can actually chat with them and ask them, hey, why did you leave, or why did you book, or why did you buy, things like that. So you can get feedback immediately, from your customers. And and just a great thing about this is you can get heat maps, you can get recordings, and you can just analyze that without having to manually talk to people. So it's a really great product that's free, so you can't complain about the price either. And you can collect that data on your website design and see if you need to actually fix it.
Yeah, that's a great tool, and I think that is really good feedback and actionable feedback. I think doing a little bit of a combination of both, right? Go talk to 10 people that have never seen your website before, and just be like, hey, I have a company, I have a website. Tell me what you think of this, and get some unsolicited feedback, or some solicited feedback from folks. And then the other piece of it, find a place like Hotjar that has analytics. Also, like if you have a Yelp page or something like that, you're gonna know the rate in which the analytics are for that Yelp page as well. So if your Yelp page is outperforming your website, that means you need to fix something on your website. Or if someone's going to your website and you have 1,000 page views a month on your website, and less than 1% of people are clicking the button that you want them to click, then you need to retool that message.
That's a problem. Yeah.
What are target rates? Like, what are target rates that you want folks to be clicking that whatever call to action you have?
So I personally, for my clients, shoot for 10% or more. But that's because, I run a marketing and growth agency. That's what my job is to make sure that, click-through rates are high, and I nail that for most of my clients, or it's close to that. But generally, your website, just through like, unsolicited traffic, so like people Google searching or just, non-targeted traffic, it's really good to have a conversion rate of around 2%. That's just a solid kind of across the board. 2% is, something that's okay. Across the board is people clicking through, because that's saying that, those are about the right number of people, even if it's unsolicited marketing, that are in your target demographic if they somehow got to your website, and it's optimized for actual, click through and, converting in your sales funnel if it's optimized for conversion.
Question on bounce rate. Talk about bounce rate for a little bit and kind of what that means to you.
Yeah, so bounce rate, for those people that don't know, is basically the people that come to your website and leave very quickly. So some of those people are just people that happen to stumble across your website. They looked at it and it wasn't, for them, or they didn't mean to come there. Or in a lot of cases, there's just, different services that just like are checking websites all the time. So they're just going to naturally bounce because they're just essentially crawling the website for content. But what you want to have is, a really low bounce rate if it's targeted customers. So when they come, they're staying for a long time. They're clicking on the things that you want them to click on, and they're converting. So you want them to be going to multiple pages on your website. You want them to be staying on your website for a long time, because that means that they're very interested. So it's good to look at, decreasing your bounce rate, but more importantly, it's good to look at increasing your conversion rate. Because even if 90% of the people that are coming to your website are bouncing, let's say those other 10% are always converting, that's still a 10% conversion rate, which means you're doing great. So if you're always focusing on the conversion side, then that's what you want to focus on.
Yeah, it's a great point. So with one of our websites, and obviously I work for a media company, so we have a crazy high time on site. So it's like over 8 minutes time on site, because people are, scooting around and reading articles and doing different things and checking out the different tools. We're not looking to convert those people into, we want them to be, sign up for the newsletter and things like that. And that's like our primary, conversion tool, but we're not looking for them to buy anything from our site, right? It's not e-commerce. There's nothing like that. So,
Exactly.
We have a pretty low bounce rate, and we have a, high time on site, but conversion's not as big of a deal to us because we want them to consume our content. If you're selling, whatever you're selling, if you're selling collectibles on your site or whatever, or if you have a software, platform that you're trying to launch, you want that conversion rate to be high of whatever it is that you're looking at. So you don't necessarily need them to spend 20 minutes on your site, but you do need them to sign up for your newsletter, or request a demo, or request a free trial, or sign up for some sort of free service that you're going to offer, a consulting thing. So it's just looking at the type of website that you have. If it's just a blog and you want them to read stuff, that's okay, but that's not really a business.
Well, I think actually, it is a business actually. And so because like one of my clients is Duffel Blog, which is, basically the Onion for the military. And, it's the same kind of boat there, where the goal is to get people to sign up for a newsletter or share the content. And so important thing about a call to action is, you need to define what that call to action is for your type of business. So for you guys at Victory Media, your call to action on any page is actually to click to another page, to click to another article. That's the call to action that you're shooting for. So if you make that really easy and very obvious on a page, then that's your call to action. It doesn't have to be a buy or a sign up or anything like that. It should be, if you're a blog or something, is to entice people to click to another blog post. So that's the way a media company makes it, because media companies, if they're selling advertising, for example, they get paid by the number of page views. So it's in their best interest, after a viewer comes to the site, to get that person to stay on the site as long as possible and click on as many pages as possible. So the whole call to action piece is all dependent on the type of business that you're running, but there should be on every page a call to action that you thought about. And it might just be, the call to action might be clicking to another page if you're a media company, or it can be signing up for a newsletter, it could be buying a product, it could be getting a consultation, it could be any number of things. All that matters is that what it is for your business, what the intent of every page is, and that you're focusing on funneling that traffic on your site, the visitors on your site, into that call to actions. They do the next thing that you want them to do.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think it's a really good way to look at kind of the difference between what you're looking for. If you're looking for more traffic, then your call to action needs to be another site. One of the other things that we see that works really, really well is, speed to call to action, right? So it's, if you click this button, you can get a free consultation within the next, 2 hours. That's a very different call to action than just click here to get a free consultation. You're driving that action. So how you actually structure what that button says is very important. And I think one of the things that, I think is a really good way to do that is those chat bars at the bottom of pages and how you do that. And I can type in a website, launchpeer.com, which is a veteran-owned business, and I'll type it in the chat here, but you can see he has at the bottom, let's chat about your startup. And that's a really effective tool to get people to have a conversation. It's very low threat. It's just, hey, let's talk about things. So I think that where you're pushing folks to do that and how you want to drive that interaction is the most important thing, and have that dialogue with your customer.
Absolutely. And the tools that they have out there for that are so good right now. You can use like Olark or intercom.io, and those can be set up so that if someone was on your page, they can have timers set to them. So if someone's on your page for more than 30 seconds, it pops up and says, hey, what can I help you with today? And if they chat in there and start a conversation, then you get a notification immediately, whether you're on your phone walking around town or you're on your computer, and you can start that conversation with that customer right away, so that you don't lose that opportunity. And there's just so many opportunities to go just from there in terms of helping lead them down the sales funnel that you have in mind.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think, if there's no other questions, we can kind of stop there. We appreciate your time and hanging out with us for a little bit. The poll results are in. We want targeted email campaigns for next week. So we'll get Aaron to work on that. Aaron, you got your task. And then we'll talk again in a week on targeted email campaigns, which he has done a ton of recently with some of his clients. So as always, if there's any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Aaron on LinkedIn. Shoot me an email at ianfaison@victorymedia.com. And if you need any marketing tips in the meantime, contact Aaron Sari at thisisgrowth.com. Aaron, anything else from you?
No, that's all I got for today. Looking forward to talking to y'all next week.
Yep. Appreciate it, everybody. Take care.